Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, hi, my name is Natasha and it's fantastic to have you here. For today's video, we are going to be flipping through the Fairy Tarot. This is by Radleigh Valentine and illustrated by Howarf David Johnson. It is published at Hay House and it retails for $24.99. I have used this, I've had this deck for quite some time now, and I'm just now getting around to making a video on it. Such is life. So there's a few things that are different about this deck. However, we'll get to them when we flip through. I'll read you the back here now. It says, the fairies are nature angels who assist us with earthly concerns, including increasing our self-confidence and belief in our ability to make a positive difference in this world. The 78 gorgeous cards in this deck are geared toward helping you wear your invisible crown and fulfill your life purpose. Radleigh Valentine calls fairy tarot cards the self-esteem deck because the words and images are imbued with this intention. Inside, you'll meet fairy kings, queens, princes, and princesses set against the backdrop of iconic Glastonbury, England. Oh my goodness. The wisdom of the fairies inscribed on each card and explained in the accompanying guidebook will help you put your life on the fast track of divine magic. So really, this is a great type of deck if you are interested in fairies and fairy imagery for beginners, because there's a lot of information on each card. So also, the guidebook is pretty extensive too. Look at how thick this is. So I'll just show you real fast the table of contents. You can also look at how to work with them. The meanings of the cards are all here as well. So they're all sectioned off, as well as each suit is a different season. So the suit of spring, summer, winter, and autumn. And then some of the major arcana cards are also labeled differently as well. All right, so we'll get a little bit more into the guidebook after we flip through these. There's the back. These are gloss, so keep that in mind. They're not terribly super shiny, as you can see, but they do have that coating on it. All right, so here we go. The major arcana has a different color, as well as the minor are all different colors in the suits. So that was great. And then on the bottom here, you have a little bit about the card. The only thing that I can really complain about with the layout is I really wish this was a little bit smaller and skinnier so we can have more of the imagery. Very beautiful. There's a lot going on in each image too, which is kind of nice because every time you use this deck, you'll pick up on something a little bit more than the last time. Justice is 8 and strength would be 11 in this deck. So Hangman has another name too. So if you're a beginner, it might be a little harder with the name changes. However, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. And you'll learn a little bit more about that in the guidebook too. So balance, this is another name for temperance. Ego. So this would be the devil card. And I know we passed the death, so release would be the death card. Tower. I think my only other complaint is there's not a ton of diversity in this. This is an older deck, and if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, But this was a Doreen Virtue deck before Radleigh Valentine took over. Correct me if I'm wrong though. So it could be even older than what I'm thinking. All right, so spring. This would be the wands. Every time I've used this deck, it has been very gentle, very positive. So I'm really liking that about this particular deck. I don't normally have a lot of fairy decks just because they're kind of sparse, surprisingly. So I'm working on that. I have a lot more witch decks than I do fairy decks, but I remember when I was little, and I'm not going to be able to remember the name of it at all, but there were these cute little like super short books that had illustrations of fairies next to their corresponding flower. Like there was a cornflower and there was a rose. It was the cutest and like sweetest little book set. I loved it. I had a huge fascination with fairies when I was younger. Still do. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So that was the other thing with these court cards. There's descriptive words about the person itself that it's represented. So that's great too. So learning in this deck is actually quite nice. I feel like if you're a beginner, this will help you kind of spark your intuition a lot more because you're not straining to remember certain things when you're starting out. That could be really overwhelming. Summer, I believe these are cups. Yes, cups. But anyway, this deck reminds me of those books because it's kind of very like Victorian era feel to it. I can't describe it any better than that. So a lot of the cards in this deck too that are considered scary or negative, they're very, they shift the perspective to like, it's okay. They put a positive spin on it, which is nice. I feel like sometimes we need a gentle deck. There's some days where I'm like, tell it to me straight, let me know, like just give me the nitty gritty of it. I can handle it. And there's other days where I'm just like, you know what? I need a more gentle approach to hearing this information. Okay, so now we're at the Suit of Swords. There's just a lot going on in all of these pictures. It's kind of nice. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, but depending on if you connect with this or not, it could be for you. Dang it, now I'm gonna have to research that book set because now I want them back. That's so pretty. All right, and now we're at Pentacles. I think the autumn pictures here are my favorite just because autumn and fall are my favorite season. Just love the changes of color and the deep tones. It is so pretty. So my biggest complaint would be I mean, there's diversity, but there's not a lot. So that would be my biggest complaint. Other than that, I don't really have an issue with this deck. I feel like it's super positive, and if you're a beginner, it can definitely help you. The size is like an oracle deck. It's bigger because you can have more of the information on the cards. However, I feel like a lot of that border can be taken down, could be shrunk a little bit more so you could see more of the imagery. So it shuffles like an oracle deck. It shuffles just fine. And this way, whoop, shuffles fine too. That coating will have a little bit of resistance, but you can kind of work that through once you're using the cards on a regular basis. So just know that it might have a little bit of resistance when you're shuffling, just for that reason alone. Nothing to do with the cards. So what popped out, and we'll read in the guidebook, is release or death. And on the card it says, let go of the past, an ending that makes way for new opportunities, and a time to move on. All right, so we'll go straight to it here. And in the book it says, you can learn from your past and move forward, or you can be held back by it. This is true in every aspect of life, be it your relationships, career, or health. When an attachment to your personal history blocks you from progress and joy, it's time to release the past and go forth boldly in an exciting new direction. Often the changes coming into your life are anticipated or welcomed by you. Although moving on can be challenging, the fairies want you to know that your future is bright and a magical one. Don't wait. Take your first steps toward happiness today. The beautiful peacock wings of our fairy and white roses she keeps close at hand both represent purity and immortality, goodness. Additional meanings of the card: moving forward, freedom to change, an ending that makes way for new opportunities, transformation, and reincarnation. So there's a lot of great information in this guidebook. It spells things out perfectly. There's also a couple spreads in this guidebook as well. So your 3-card and then your Celtic cross spread. It gives you straightforward information, which is fantastic. The only thing it doesn't really do is a reversal definition. So you can choose to do that on your own, or you can read them upright. To me, it just depends on the deck that I'm using, and most of the time I read them upright anyway. I don't know why I do the things I do, I just do them. So anyway, I think this is a fantastic deck if you are, whatever level you are at, as well as if you are connected to the fairy imagery or the fairy themes. I feel like this is a fantastic deck. It could be a little bit harder to read on just because some of the names are changed. And the suits are changed. However, with the guidebook, it's very helpful, and you can kind of learn this deck alongside your traditional deck as well. So there's some ideas for you there. Let me know what you think about this, because there's some things I would definitely change about it. However, overall, I really feel like you're getting a lot for $25. And right now, I'm sure you can even purchase this at a cheaper price because it's been out for so long. But I will let you know where you can find this down in the description box below. Not sponsored or anything. I just want you guys to find what you're looking for. And I would be very interested to know if you own this deck, what you think about it. If you don't own it, is it something that you've never heard of or you're interested in? I'd just like to hear your thoughts and opinions. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on your way out of this video. That way you'll never miss an upload from me. And also, don't forget to check out the community tab. That's where I leave updates and information. So always be checking that thing out too. Alrighty, I think I've said all my spiel. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.